Alright, hello boys and girls, moms and dads. Welcome to HeroesMart Academy. This is 5th grade Social Studies, week number 22. Alright, today we're going to be talking about patterns of settlement in the United States. And we're going to be talking about this pattern of settlements from the standpoint of how people started migrating over to the United States from different other parts of the world. And we are going to do a quick review of a couple of other things that we talked about before in 4th grade and in 3rd grade. For example, how to use your compass. Alright. So, types of settlements and settlement patterns in the United States. So, look at this little depiction over here. So, predominantly, the way people migrated over to the United States, for the most part, was from Europe / Africa to the United States northeast, and then they started expanding to the west and to the south. That's the long and short of it. So people from Europe, mainly British, trying to escape the persecution of the King of England, they came over to the northeastern section of the United States, and then they brought some people from Africa through slavery, unfortunately, back in the 1600s, the 1700s, and then they came over to the northeast section of the United States. But then right afterwards, especially following the Louisiana Purchase of the 1800s and the occupation of southern states, the United States started to expand toward the west. And then, following the Industrial Revolution of the 1800s and the 19th century, people started coming from other parts of the world as well. So, Asia and more people from Europe, they started coming over to the United States. So, what are some geographical factors that influenced this pattern? People typically want to live in locations that have weather patterns that are similar to their original homelands, and that's partly the reason early European immigrants settled for the northeast section of the United States, because the climate over there is pretty much like the climate in Europe. Population distribution in the United States. The most populated area right now in the United States as of 2023 is the South. So lots of people are migrating from the north down to the south for a number of reasons. Southern United States is fast growing in terms of population, while the northeast is shrinking slightly. And this is partly due to favorable religious and political climate of the south. Okay, so how population spread. Before the Europeans came to conquer America, indigenous people from many tribes inhabited the land. Some of these groups still exist today, but many no longer live where their ancestors once did. These people were pushed out by the Europeans, who fought them for their lands, relegated them to live on reservations of lands that were often far from their original territories. And we know it was a real sad situation when Europeans came over here. They pushed out the Native American people, pushed them to reservations like in Oklahoma, made them walk miles and miles. Really, really unfortunate history that happened over there. Alright, so what's the population distribution as of 2019? In the northeast section of the United States, it is estimated that about 17.1% of the population stay over there. 20.8% of Americans live in the Midwest, and 38.3% of Americans live in the South, and 23.9% of American people live in the West. Why are U.S. cities located the way they are? So typically in the Northeast, especially in ancient times, prior to the Industrial Revolution, people out of state close together. So that's called the proximity rule. so they couldn't walk many miles, they couldn't drive. So within a 10-mile radius, you are going to see little towns that are kind of like clustered together. And that's what happened pre-European America, in pre-European America. And another reason why people are located, or people stay in cities, is the easy access to amenities. So you're talking about public amenities like hospitals and schools and churches, where public centers that people are gonna use. Most times people try to build homes around public amenities as well. Another reason people build cities and locate cities is in consideration of sea transportation. So anywhere you see a quick access to the ocean, people typically want to congregate over there. And that's what happened in New York and all these other northeastern places, because they're really close to the ocean, and people just started building their homes really close over there. Natural resources. Well, with the advent of crude oil, cities were built close to oil wells, and this led to the development of cities in states like Texas and California, because a huge discovery of oil was made in those states. What about mountains? So historically, people that used mountains as a strategic way to defend themselves. So they are going to build cities around mountains with the expectation that the mountains will provide some kind of defense for them in case of an intrusion. So that's one critical geographical factor as well. Conducive climate. Weather patterns around the southern parts of the United States could be a favorable factor contributing to its growth and to the growth of its population. So these are certain reasons why cities are located the way they are prior to the European occupation of the United States, and even during the European occupation and even in the 21st century. Some of those factors are going to be prevalent and prevailing factors with regards to where people build cities. Alright, so let's take a look at a couple of things that we learned before. So we talked, I believe in 3rd grade and 4th grade, about how to use a compass. So what is a compass to start with? So a compass is a tool that we use to determine directions. So if you hold a compass in front of you, the compass is going to have 4 major cardinal locations. It's going to have a north in this direction, it's going to have east, it's going to have west, and it's going to have south. And then there were other minor directions, like in between north and west, that's going to be called northwest. In between north and east, that's going to be called northeast. And in between west and south, that's going to be called southwest. And in between east and south, that's going to be called southeast. So if you hold a compass, the tool is pretty much like that. Hold it in front of you. This little needle is going to swing in the direction that you're facing. Now, there are lots of mobile applications that have compass applications on them. So even if you don't have a physical compass, you can turn to your iPhone and look for the compass application and just hold your phone in front of you, and you are going to see the direction that you are facing over there. So we use these cardinal directions: north, south, west, and east. I know some people call it never eat sour watermelon. North, east, south, and west. So maybe we can do that. Maybe that's going to help you to remember. Okay, so if you're going clockwise, never eat sour watermelon. Is that going to help you to remember? Never eat sour watermelon. All right. So north, east, south, west, and that's the clockwise fashion. When you're moving to the right, that's clockwise. When you're moving away from the right to the left like this, that is going to be anti-clockwise. All right. So let's look at this exercise together real quickly. So Victor is currently located in point A, which has a coordinate of latitude 4 degrees north, is on this latitude, and 5 degrees east is on this longitude. Along latitude 4 degrees north, he travels 2 degrees west to point B. What is his current coordinate? Well, that's going to be easy. There is no change of longitude. He just traveled a little bit to the west of the latitude that he is currently on. Well, so how do we do that? 5 degrees minus 2 degrees west. Okay, so you can get 3 degrees east. So 3 degrees. And because it's not up to 5 degrees, we can't cross over to the west. So the new coordinate right now is going to be, in terms of latitude, 4 degrees north and 3 degrees west over there. All right. So let's try to make sure you do this homework over here. So from the exercise above, what is the distance between points A and B? All right. So let's see right now. So what's the distance between point A and B over there? Oh, so let's take a look at it. So this is point A right in here. This is A. And this is going to be B. Alright, so this is going to be 5 degrees east, and this one is going to be 3 degrees east. Alright, so what is this distance? This distance is going to be 5 minus 3, which is going to be equivalent to 2 degrees. Now we know from prior studies that 1 degree, right, is going to be equivalent to 111 kilometers, right? That's 1 degree for you. So what is 2 degrees? All right, so 2 degrees will be equivalent to 2 multiplied by 111 kilometers, which is going to be equivalent to 222 kilometers. Okay, so that's going to be your answer right over there. Then another question for you here is, write an article about settlement patterns in the United States. So you're welcome to write articles based on what we talked about from here. Okay, so you can grab a hold of these bullet points, turn the bullet points into sentences into paragraphs, and you will have written an article just like that. All right, so thank you for joining me today. Remember, 3 John chapter 1 and in verse 11 says, "Beloved, do not imitate what is evil, but what is good. He who does good is of God, but he who does evil has not seen God." 3 John chapter 1 in verse 11. Thank you for joining me today, boys and girls. Remember, God cares about you, and so do we. Bye-bye.
I'll be your hero's buddy, and as you study with HeroesMart